You're listening to Spainfully Honest, the podcast where me, Paul,
and me, Catherine, talk about what it's really like living in Spain.
each week we'll share stories, tips, and honest conversations about daily life here in Spain.
Whether you live in Spain, you're thinking about moving, or you just want to know a little bit more, you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's get Spainfully Honest.
Okay, so hello and welcome to episode 6. And before I get started today, again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for listening to the podcast. Hundreds and hundreds of people. You know, that's just going to be our family listening for the first couple of months.
Yeah, that would have been 3 for my side.
But yeah, so we've got people listening from absolutely all over. So let's say thank you to everyone who's sharing the episodes and commenting on the episodes. It's such a joy to see everyone helping us out like that. So thank you very much. And today we have something special. So we have an expert, our first guest expert.
That we didn't have to twist around about to come on.
So we have Rhiannon on from King's College in Murcia, who's going to be talking to us today all things private education in Spain. So welcome and thank you so much for joining us today on Spainfully Honest.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
We were talking even before we started the podcast altogether, saying that one of the most important things that if you're thinking of moving to Spain is, especially if you're coming with children, that you've got to sort out their education. It's massively important. I think, obviously, depending on age and your situation as to what you do with children, you know, how they're going to get the best education. So last week we talked to our children about their experiences, but also it's really important, I think, to talk to somebody from a private education, because that is probably one of the best options for your children depending on the age.
Yeah, and some people will have that as their only option, especially if they're coming over to Spain maybe for a period of time, but they always plan to return to the UK. Then it's kind of like the best option, really, isn't it? So yeah, we need to see all the different types of education available, and today we're going to focus on private education.
So as I said, we've got Rhiannon with us. Rhiannon, could you tell us about your personal history with Spain?
Yeah, of course. So I started as an English secondary school teacher, and I was teaching in Newport in South Wales. I was there for 6 years, and then my parents, they actually retired to Spain, to the Alicante region, and I realised that I could follow them. Because there were lots of private British international schools in Spain. So I moved over back in 2006, so 19 years ago now. I worked in 2 different British private schools, and then in 2010, in January, I started in my current school, which is King's College School, Murcia. I was an English teacher there. Then I was promoted to head of English. Then I started on a real leadership journey. I went on a middle leaders course through King's up in Madrid. And after I did the course, they recommended that I could run it. So I went and trained in London. And I was doing middle leadership training courses for a few years. Then in 2021, we had a change of management in the schools. We had a new head teacher. And I applied to be head of secondary in the school. And I got that job. And at the same time, I did my master's. So I did my master's in educational leadership and management, which is finished now. And then more recently, back in January, so 2 terms ago, I was promoted to deputy head of the whole school, which is a role that I'm really, really happy with. I'm really enjoying it. And more personally, I've got a daughter who is about to turn 14. She was born in Spain. She started at the school at 18 months, and quite scarily, she's now going into a year 10 to start her GCSEs in September. Time goes so quickly.
It flies like this.
It really does.
So is she at King's College?
Yes, she's at King's College. Yeah, she's been there the whole time. So it's all she's ever known, but she really, really loves it.
That's brilliant. So it's an extra. So you work at King's College, but also you're parents of someone going to King's College. So it's brilliant. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then just for information for people listening, there is King's College, of course, in Murcia, as we said, but there's also one in Alicante and there's one in Madrid. Is that right?
Yeah, the flagship school is in Madrid, the biggest one, which is called Soto, and that was started about 55 years ago.
What?
They go all the way through like us, 18 months to 18 years. Then there's La Moralaca, which goes up to the end of year 11, to the end of GCSEs, and then there's an infant school called Chamartín. So there's 3 in Madrid, and there's Alicante, and then there's us. But we're part of a much bigger group now as well. So about 4 years ago, we became an inspired school, and they've got schools. There's 20 in Spain and Portugal together, and there's 119 throughout the whole world. So,
All right.
yeah.
That's good then.
Yeah, so we're part of a really big organisation now, which has lots of advantages. It really does. There's lots of shared practice and courses, and it works really well.
Oh, brilliant.
So are you in contact with the other ones as well?
Yeah.
Right, great. That's
Yeah.
really useful.
Yeah.
That's good.
And the King's College here in Murcia, what ages does that cover?
We start then at 18 months, which is pre-nursery, and we go all the way to 18 years, which is A levels. So we do have students that actually start at 18 months. Some of them have just graduated.
Wow.
They've been there since they were 18 months old, and they've just left. But saying that, we do have students that join at all different age groups as well, because obviously we're very international.
Yeah.
It's not just a Spanish school, it's not just a British school. People who work both from Poland, from the Ukraine, from Russia, from America, from China, and they can join at any stage. Even throughout the year, we take admissions as well.
Oh, brilliant.
Mhm.
That's
That's
amazing.
really good. So like you said, so the Madrid school was the first one in 55 years ago.
Yeah.
When did King's in Latorio?
2007. So I joined in 2010 when they grew it from the bottom. So they only went up to year 9. So pre-GCSE when I joined. So then I started the English language and literature GCSE and then the A level. So I watched it grow from, it was about 200 students back then, and now we're over 500.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Yeah, so like you were saying then, where a child joins sort of midway through their educational process and they come from the UK, what do they get integrated into Spanish as well, or is it
Yeah.
purely English?
Yeah, definitely. And the idea is that they can slot back into the British system as well. So it is a totally British system and with the national curriculum and GCSEs and A levels. But obviously, it's important that their level of Spanish is good because they're living in Spain. So they're streamed in Spanish when they arrive. So they start in something called L, which is it translates to Spanish for foreigners. But the idea is that as quickly as possible, we move them into the Spanish system, which is it's called Lengua and Cultura. So it's the study of the Spanish language, Spanish literature, and then the history and the geography of Spain.
Brilliant. Oh, that's pretty good. So you've got like the language for foreigners or Spanish for foreigners, and then it's like it's not straight into it's not such a shock to the system
Yeah,
for kids
exactly.
coming over from other countries. Let's say I used to say the UK, but as you said, there's lots of different nationalities there.
Yeah.
So people coming from all over.
Mhm.
It's not such a shock to the system.
Yeah.
Straight into whole Spanish education. Yeah.
And similarly, because obviously every subject is taught in English, the English is really important. So if students begin and their English isn't that strong, we do something called EAL, so English is an additional language. So they will have extra English lessons every week to get them up to speed so they can access all of the subjects apart from the non-foreign languages.
That's amazing. Yeah. So people coming from Poland or
Yeah.
from any of those countries, then their English is also not super great level. And excellent. That's really good.
Yeah, so because of that, there's not really a restriction on the year that they can join, is
No,
there?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got students joining year 12, so they're starting the A levels. I think we've got about 5 joining in September into year 12. So
And do you find that there's many Spanish people who want to go to university in the UK who choose King's College as a path to university in the UK?
I think, in all honesty, most of the, if not all the parents that we have choosing King's College as a path to university. Yeah, obviously they can go to the UK. We've had students go into the Russell Group. They're the best universities in the UK. We've got a student studying maths in Oxford who left us 2 years ago. So, we've just had graduates going to Essex, studying law, international relations. But the really good thing is they go to university anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Spain has become more popular post-Brexit, and in Spain they do courses in English and in Spanish. We've had students going to Navarra, Valencia, Madrid, even the university in Murcia. Holland has become popular over the last few years because they do courses in English as well. And we have had several students going to America on scholarships, normally sporting scholarships. So obviously we've got the weather for golf, for tennis, and we've got the facilities at the school as well. So yeah, university all over the world, but they are definitely prepared for university in the UK too.
Brilliant. And what would be the balance of international kids and Spanish kids in the school?
It's really changed actually in the time that I've been there. It used to be probably 70% Spanish.
Yeah.
And that a mixture of nationalities. Not necessarily that many British people years ago. As time's gone on, we've definitely had more British people. Now we're about 55% Spanish, so 45% a mixture of other nationalities. But yeah, more British heavy than it has been for a number of years.
Yeah, sorry, that question just popped into my mind. So my son used to go to an international school as well. And at the time, I'd say it was 85% Spanish.
Yeah.
And only a few nationalities. So I just wondered how many there were in school.
When my daughter was in pre-nursery, I remember for years and years she was the only British student. And so her best friends is Spanish. But as time's gone on, and I think about it now in that year group of nearly 50 kids, there's probably at least 10 that are British. So more British people have joined, even after Brexit.
That's great, because that was one of the things our kids were saying, that it's really important to get Spanish from friends when you're living here.
Yeah.
So having such a high proportion is great.
Yeah, because there might be an idea or a concept that when you put your kids into an international school like that, you maybe popping them into a wall. That really clears that up. That's not all the case, because there's so many Spanish people there as well.
No, but my daughter's just taking her Spanish GCSE 2 years early as well.
Oh, wow.
Okay, the results in August, but she should be on track for a good grade.
Oh, amazing. Well done. Amazing. Congratulations. What's your daughter's name?
Sophia.
So well done, Sophia. Congratulations.
So from your family's plans, what would, when Sophia gets to the age of going to university, what do you think she'll do? Do you think she'll stay in Spain? Or
She actually wants to go to university in Spain. So it kind of changes every year. So we've gone from a nurse to a vet until the dog was put down, and then definitely doesn't want to be a vet. The latest is she wants to do a degree in gastronomy, maybe hotel, restaurant management.
Yeah.
We've been researching that, and Valencia looks like a really good option. So they've got public universities there and private universities where she should qualify. And they've got courses in English and Spanish as well.
Yeah.
So that's the plan at the moment.
Spain is definitely the country if you want to do something in the area of astronomy. She's in the right place.
To be honest, as a parent and as a teacher, I've been thinking, what jobs will actually even exist in 10 years' time? The way that society is changing with AI. I'm like, okay, people will always need hotels and always need food, so that should be okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a big question at the moment, isn't it? AI and everything.
Yeah, it really is.
I think I'll just bring another question at me. Is there how is technology implemented or involved in the curriculum in King's College?
That's a really good question, because we have amazing technology. So we have lots of up-to-date things, such as we've got VR headsets that the pupils can use.
Excellent.
Enter lots of different worlds.
Yeah.
The pupils all have their own device. So a Chromebook from secondary age, a system called Canvas, which we introduced about 2 years ago. And basically all of their learning content is on Canvas. So every lesson and the resources are uploaded on there. But what's special about it is that the parents have access to it as well. But as well as that, over the last probably 12, 18 months, there's been a lot of feedback from parents in Spain, and this is nationwide throughout Spain, that they don't want their pupils on devices so much.
Yeah.
So it's something we've actually limited in primary. So they only have a certain amount of time a day, a week on devices, and parents are saying we don't want homework on a device, we don't want reading books on a device. So our parents very much favour reading books, textbooks. So there's real balance between the two.
Yeah, it's important. I think they need the access to technology, but they have to also try it so it's not consuming their daily lives.
Yeah. When we introduced Canvas, we had leaders from all over Spain and Portugal. And when they came to our school, because we were in pilot school, they kind of assumed that because we sat on the computer all day long.
Yeah.
When we went to watch lessons and they saw that we're still using exercise books, we're still using textbooks, we still have reading books, but this is a platform to support that learning. They were really happy about that, because personally, I'm an English teacher, I love reading, I love writing, I don't want handwriting to die, I don't want exams to be on screen. So I think that it can benefit our lives in so many ways, but we don't want it to consume us.
Yeah, there needs to be a balance, isn't
It does, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really good. One of the things I was thinking about is being a private school, is there sort of an overseeing body that comes in, like in the UK, you know, Ofsted, is there that sort of thing for private schools in Spain?
Yes, not every private school does it, but we're the only school in Murcia that we're under the BSO, which means the British Schools Overseas. And so they inspect you every 3 to 4 years. So we had an inspection, I think about 4 years ago, got outstanding in every category, and we've got another one booked in for May. So when the inspectors come in, I think people assume all them will just watch lessons, watch the teachers, look at the books. And that is part of it, but it isn't just about that. It's not just about our exam results. It's very much about life at the school. They'll look at our KSHG program, they'll look at our anti-bullying policies, they'll talk to pupils to make sure that that is actually in place and working well, that the pupils are happy, that they feel safe, their well-being. We've also got a full-time school counsellor, a trained psychologist. So it isn't just about the education, it's all about that holistic view, making sure that, yes, children are achieving and they're doing their best, but also that they're happy.
Yeah, that's such a big part of it now because there's a lot of focus on the mental well-being of children these days, isn't it? With the rise of social media and technology,
Definitely.
it's definitely something that people are focusing more and more on. So it's great to hear that's important. And one thing, I'm not sure if we touched on it, was it class size? So what kind of class sizes are they?
Class sizes from reception and below, it's 19 or under, and then from year 1 up to A level, it's a maximum of 25. But obviously, when you get to subjects and you choose GCSEs, you have options, and you have A levels, you have options. The class sizes are generally much smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, the maximum.
Specialties and stuff like that.
Exactly. So they choose what they want to do. The maximum is 25. So if we go over 25, we open a new year group.
One of the things that one of the questions that we got asked was about special educational needs. It was a general question for somebody that moved into the last year.
Yeah.
Well, I think the principle applies. But is there provision for special education needs?
Yeah, definitely. We're a very inclusive school, so we do have a range of students with different needs. So when you apply to the school, you do something called the CAT4 test, which is a cognitive ability test. That is to assess your level and see where you are. It isn't an entrance exam. It doesn't mean that we're looking and say, oh no, that means you can't come in. But it often identifies that there is a special educational need, or it might be that their language skills are lower, so they need that extra English as an additional language. Sometimes it might mean they might have been out of education for a while, so they might need to go in a different year group, etc. But for special educational needs, we have a coordinator in secondary and a coordinator in primary. And they work with staff and they work with agencies that come in to do the testing as well. So if people receive a diagnosis or there's a suspicion that they might have an educational need, they'll have something called an IEP, which is an individual education plan, which the teachers then refer to put interventions in place. And that can quite simply be in the classroom, it might mean extra reading, it could mean if they're older, exam concessions. So if people have a diagnosed need and they're taking their GCSEs and A levels, it might mean that they have a reader in the exam, that they have 25% extra time, that they use a word processor. When they're being taught, for example, if they're dyslexic, they might need a blue background. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of provision and we are very inclusive.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right, that answers this question.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. And then a lot of, we got some emails and some questions as well from American families. I feel like they're very involved in the schools in the USA, aren't they? Like as far as volunteering at the schools. And a lot of them ask us, is there a way they can volunteer at the school and get to know the parents that way as well?
Yeah, we do have parent volunteers coming in, often to read with students in primary. We also have a very open door policy for parents. We have the senior leadership team stood on the gates every day, welcoming the parents and saying goodbye. We have coffee mornings, where sometimes we'll focus it just on new parents, so they can come in and meet each other and sort of start to build that network. We'll have something called breakfast with the head. We also have things that involve not just parents, but the whole community. So we'll have a Christmas fair and we'll invite the community in as well. We've had a summer fair for the last 2 years. We had our first bonfire night celebration last November, which we'll be doing again. So yeah, there's a good opportunity for parents to network and get to know each other, but for the community to come into the school as well and feel that we're really part of the community at Latorre, Roldan, Murcia.
So yeah. Brilliant, yeah, it's a huge part, isn't it? And it's great for the kids as well.
It is, yeah.
Brilliant.
How far do the children travel to Kings? To this one, for example?
So we've got 9 different bus routes that we provide. I think we don't have a bus to Macaron, but I know we've got a few kids coming from Macaron, so sort of down south. And then we've got lots of students from the Lasagna area. So we do have a school bus that goes to Lasagna. Then we have Murcia, Cartagena. So quite a wide circle.
It's like 30, 40 kilometres.
Yeah, probably 30, 40 kilometres. Yeah, probably 45, 50 maximum, I would say. But in a big circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the school, like, the facilities, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. We've got semi-Olympic swimming pool, we've got Black Box Theatre, we've got an amazing AstroTurf football pitch. We're actually really, really lucky with that facilities. They are incredible.
I used to watch football, so they played football in the evening. So what other activities did they have at the school for extracurricular activities?
Yeah, we have lots of extracurricular activities, not just after school, but during the school day as well. So lunch times, and there's actually an enrichment period at year 9 as well, so they can choose to do something like cooking. We've had scuba diving in the swimming pool.
Wow.
We have a pony club that comes every Friday, and every year it just gets better and better. We offer more and more. One of my personal proudest things that we do is something called Monthly United Nations. So it's where the pupils, they take part in a debating competition. So we started it about 4 years ago, and it was post-COVID, so the first 2 conferences that we did were online. We were actually online with Colombia, with another inspired school. And since then, we've taken pupils to Madrid and Barcelona. So they get given a country and a topic to debate, and then they have to do their research, and then they go to these conferences and they're like mini delegates, so they dress up, but they learn the parliamentary vocabulary, and they represent their country's stance. And then at Christmas, we were actually invited to the biggest one in the world.
Oh, wow.
So we took the kids to New York. It was myself and the trips coordinator, Sophie. We took a group of students to New York for a week, and we took part in this one of the United Nations of 4,000 students, which was absolutely incredible. And we came back with an award as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. That sounds amazing. That
Yeah, it
sounds
was
so
great. It
cool.
was. I got to take my daughter as well, so she loved it.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, one other thing I just wanted to ask you about university, and that was about when we were speaking to our kids on the 2 episodes ago, I think it was. There didn't seem to be a lot of guidance or support at that moment when people are applying for university. I was just wondering, is there guidance or support, or what is that time of a kid's life like when they go to King's College?
Yeah, they're very, very well supported, mostly by our head of sixth form, who is called Jenny, and then we have something called a director technica, who kind of manages all of the paperwork and making sure we're compliant with Spanish law. And then a big part of his role is liaising with the Spanish universities to ask about the requirements, because in Spain you need 14 points to go to a maximum of 14 points, so converting those points, etc. So they're supported very well beforehand and after as well, so we work all the way through the summer on university applications, and really, really do help the students, most definitely. I think they feel very supported, and then we get the good news that they've got into their first choice universities, they're really happy and really proud.
Can they apply to mix? So like in the UK you might put your first 3, and they will be all English, or
Yeah.
They
Can you
apply
do
for both the
Murcia as number 1 and
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's really helpful.
So it gives you a lot of options.
A lot of options. And that opens a lot of doors. That's amazing.
Because my daughter both my daughters went to the UK, but they initially went as international students because their main language was Spanish, their first language.
Yeah.
What they had, I would say, an advantage, because when they got there, their English was proportionally better probably than most of the international students, so they have quite an advantage. But they still got the help if they needed it. And Lottie was saying that she'd never really had any experience of essay writing when she was here in a Spanish school. And so in the first year, they gave her...
So that's one reason. Obviously, for GCSE, they take language and literature, as well as subjects like history, but there's essay writing in Spanish as well. But then when they do A-levels, we offer something called the EPQ, which is the extended project. So it's a 5,000-word essay on a discursive topic that interests them, so something that has a side for or a side against, and then they come down on one side and write a conclusion. But I think that's really important, because with the A-level pathway, they might study maths and sciences, and they've said similar things in the past. They get to university and say, oh, haven't written an essay for years, so that really sort of keeps their hand in, not just with essay writing, but with research skills as well.
Yeah, because as we were saying last week, it is a skill that writing from scratch, you know, it is something that needs to be.
But it was a shock for me to do my masters after, you know, how many years out of education. I teach essay writing, but then for me to actually write a dissertation.
To start it all over, like get back into it. Yeah, it is such a skill, right?
Yes, definitely.
So you were just saying about the A level, so that they are given points then to be equivalent to a Spanish system. So if you wanted to go to Murcia University, the A levels translated to points as well.
So for example, they need 14 points maximum. Universities offering degrees in medicine, etc., will ask for 13 point something points. Obviously, it's a lot higher. But the A-level grades they're equivalent to a certain amount of points. So, for example, an A is 5 points, and it works like that. Also, for certain regions in Spain, they need to take subjects called Especificus, because they can get a maximum of 10 points from the A-level subjects, but for those 4 points, they need to take 2 subjects in Spanish. So they can study maths in Spanish, science in Spanish, geography in Spanish, business in Spanish, and that gives them the full range of points. That's the way that works.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Just for somebody that we're coming over and thinking about it, and the option for both sides. That's good. Well, it was the same the other way, right? I know nearly 13 subjects in London. She did an American international thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was, for the English university, it was coordinated to work it out. And she got first. Durham, so she did really well.
That's a great university.
And then, would you be able to talk us through how much it will cost to send a child to King's College?
Yeah, obviously, it totally varies depending on their age. A child in pre-nursery is a totally different cost to a child in A-level. So you can easily find out the cost if you go on the website. And the first page, there's an icon which says apply now, and you can ask for a price list, no problem. What I would say as well, though, is in our school there are no hidden costs. I think what's important is we include the books and materials. So other schools don't. They will say that the school costs this much, but then you have to buy all of the textbooks for every subject, which really minds up.
Does that mean I have to buy it for my children? It's a lot, wouldn't it?
We also include educational day trips. So residentials are an extra, but we will have 1 or 2 trips a year that are educational, and that's included in the cost. We've got an amazing on-site kitchen, so everybody gets a 3-course lunch. The younger students, they get 2 snacks per day as well. So I would say that there's no hidden costs within the school. I think that's really
good to know.
Yeah, compared to other schools, definitely.
Brilliant. And then I think what our final question.
Yeah, we always ask this one question, which is if you were advising somebody that was coming over with let's do it with children in this case, what would be your one tip that you would suggest them to have before they came?
Okay, so I came over 19 years ago, and I've been working in education my whole life. So I guess if you're coming over with kids, think about the education. It isn't that easy to slot into Spanish school, especially dependent on their age and without the language skills. So I would say do your research before you come. So really research the different schools that are around in the areas and pay a visit to them, ask for a tour. Go and see it when students are in school, not necessarily when the school is closed, because you get a real feel for the school, and you get a vibe for what sort of school it is. Do the kids look happy? How is the behaviour? Things like that. So my advice would be do your research and choose the right school for you.
And I said last question. I think I said that now. It's like a typical Irish goodbye. They last like a half an hour. It's just going to ask you, is there, do you think, the right age to bring your children to Spain? Well, doesn't that really matter these days with the options there are education-wise?
I wouldn't say that there's a right age. I think the start of the course is important. So if you're thinking about bringing them for year 11, for example, I wouldn't recommend that. I'd say that they need to start the GCSEs in year 10, and again for year 12. But apart from that, no, because it is a British system and everything is taught in English apart from the modern foreign languages, it's not necessarily a right age to bring children. I have to say, as a parent as well, it's just such a better place to bring up your children. really is. You've got an outdoor lifestyle, you've got a certain sort of naivety and innocence to the children. I just think it's a better life for them compared to other countries. I really do.
I always say that when I go back and forth to different countries as well, and the kids seem so much more, I don't want to say mature because it sounds like a bad thing, but there's I don't know, they're definitely more innocent here for longer, aren't they?
They're not as streetwise.
Yeah, they're not, are they?
No.
It's lovely. I love it.
Yeah, they keep them as children for longer.
Yeah,
They do.
definitely. Yeah.
That's right.
So just to wrap it all up, Rhiannon, would you mind telling people how they can get in contact with the school if they want more information or about
With all the
courses?
schools, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the easiest way is if you just Google King's College School. Obviously, we're in Murcia, but you can put Madrid, you can put Alicante, and find out information from the different schools. It's a really easy to use website, and on the front page, top right, you've got a button that says Apply Now. You fill in an application form, and you can get all of the information about prices, book a tour, and our admissions officer, Christian, will be in touch.
Brilliant. I'll make sure to put all the information, telephone numbers, email, website into the show notes. So no matter if you're watching it on Spotify or if you're watching it on Amazon Music or YouTube, I'll make sure that all the information is in the show notes so you can just click and go directly to their website.
Thank you, Rhiannon. That's really good, really informative.
Yeah, that was really informative for me. Nothing else I can learn, but there you go.
No, but like I said, I mean, like before we discussed doing the podcast, one of the most important things about people coming in, and now we've given a little bit more of an insight into it. So it's great. Really pleased.
Yeah, we've been speaking a lot about education recently, but it's just for the time of year that it is, so we seem to cover that. But yeah, because this one will go in August, so it's just a time when people are thinking about it, I think. So yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, everyone, to share the episode. If you know someone moving to Spain and you think this episode might interest them, so feel free to share it on whatever platform that I just mentioned. Thank you again for listening to Spainfully Honest. And please send your emails to us, your funny stories, your education stories, your questions, your suggestions for other topics you'd like us to cover in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for listening, everybody. Thank you, Rhiannon.
Bye.
Bye.